Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Lizard Brains podcast. I'm your host, DJ Alessandrini. I'm joined by my co-host, Tom O'Gorman. Tom, how's it going?
I'm good. I had a nice weekend at home. I got to see my family, got to see my niece, got to hang out with my brother's dogs.
That's good.
No complaints. How are
Yeah,
you?
that's good. I'm good. I'm sore. I've been crawling around on my hard basement floor putting together a new sim rig. Thank you, Nancy.
Nice. Nice. It's over your right shoulder right now. And it's at what? What would you call it? Like 80% assembled?
It's fully assembled. I just have to do wire management and hook up the peripherals. No USB. I needed the computer to record the podcast, so the computer's still over here, but it needs to be over there. But if I disassembled that, then I wouldn't have been able to record today. So
Huh. Yeah. I can appreciate how long it takes to set up everything properly. You were saying last week that you really want to make sure the wire management is nice and that
yeah,
it's like
I've
almost the centerpiece of the room, even though it's in a corner.
I feel like
I thought
this.
you were going to have it face the middle of the room instead so that you could wire manage a little better. It's still in
So
a corner.
I was gonna do that when I was gonna only have one PC because I was gonna run extension cables to the desk, and I was gonna have the desk in a different place and stuff like that. But since me and Christine just upgraded our computers, we happen to have the correct things laying around that was basically just like e-garbage uh that would, if all combined, would create another computer that would be perfectly sufficient for recording the podcast. And that's really all I use this desk for anymore. So I just needed another computer to record the podcast. I'm not going to record it in the sim rig. Um,
Yeah.
and because honestly, I just don't have a good place to put the podcast machine. It's just so bulky. It just takes up a lot of room. Uh,
Have you ever recorded from the podcast? From the sim rig? I've recorded from a sim rig once, and it was my
oh my
dad's.
goodness.
A sim
Guys,
rig.
live on the air. Tom's having a stroke. Hold on, Tom, smile. I need to see if your face is droopy.
I'm just
Yeah, you're good.
dude, I can only imagine also. Okay, so not only have you been setting that rig up, but you've been doing the most laps of your entire life doing the balance of performance for our race this week.
Yep,
Dude,
yep.
how many laps did you do? Like how many thousands of laps
So
did that
in order
take?
to get the fuel numbers, but then I didn't think about it because a big iRacing update literally just came out yesterday, and I still haven't looked at the patch notes to see if to see if they changed anything. So I'm I really don't want to have to do it again because it literally took the most of Sunday. I would do 7 laps in each car and then take the average fuel number. And if I wiped out or spun or whatever, then the average was messed up. I didn't do that, but that was the box that I was playing in. If I spun on any of those 7 laps on all 16 cars, so do the math. I think it was 105 laps. And I was filling out the Excel sheet that went with it, and just it was just it was all day Sunday. I coached somebody in the morning on Sunday, and then the rest of that day until 8 p.m. was getting the fuel numbers for the race.
Damn.
And
I used to do that. Go ahead.
I did find outliers. So if I did all that work and then it was yep, they're all 78% fuel tank, and that's good. But there was some cars that burned a lot of fuel, and then some that really sipped and stuff like that. And it would have just opened up, and maybe it wouldn't have mattered for the race. But since we can have cautions during the race, I wanted to make sure that somebody didn't end up in a window that somebody else didn't wasn't capable of getting because they chose a different car. Oops, sorry. Normally I don't have my microphone on my desk, but I didn't have any other option. So you're going to hear bumping and stuff.
Oh well. I have a question, but real quick, the sim race we're talking about, it's this Sunday, the 14th, in iRacing. It's a 3-hour endurance race with 3 different classes. If you don't know about it yet, it's still, you can join. All the information is on Discord, but it's presented by Spicy Cat Racing. We're gonna have a broadcast by Sim TV. We have prizes from Spicy Cat Racing and from SCCA, which I'll go over in a second. But my question is, did you correlate the fuel burn to the pace of the car? Because I didn't really pay attention to that.
Are
So
you?
was the car that was sipping also the slowest?
No, they
And
were
did you
all.
factor that in?
Look, I'm obviously not going to be 100% proficient in the car and set the like, the peak of what that car could do. And I was also just driving on like the fixed setup or whatever. Um, I I I just balanced fuel, so strategy could be relatively the same in terms of balancing the cars. That would be so many more laps for 16 cars. If the scope of
But
the
don't you
race was
think
a little smaller, then maybe I would have a chance to like actually BOP whatever cars are in it, but not 16 cars. I can't. That's impossible.
No, I agree with you, but don't you think that the game's BOP takes for account the pace and the fuel burn? So, like, the slowest car might have the best fuel rate, and that's what makes it competitive? Or is that not how iRacing does it?
I don't think that's how. I don't know if they do it like that because a lot of the races that are in iRacing don't require a fuel stop. So I don't think they would BOP it like that. I think they would just try to make the fuel and but here's the thing is like cars make lap time differently on different tracks. So it's like a average BOP that's like mostly okay. Like if you look at like the official races, there's always like like in the GT3s, it's always like the Aston, the Mustang, and sometimes the like the Ferrari or something. That's like the car to have that week. I would say in the last couple weeks before this update, it was the worst I've ever seen it, where it was literally an entire field of Porsche Cup cars because it took like the chicane at the bus stop better, or not Cup cars, but the Porsche GT3 911R, whatever they call it, the GT3 Porsche. Or I saw at Watkins Glen, it was literally like spec Aston because there was something about the Aston that just made it just the car to have. And whether somebody can extract that pace or not, they're like, well, I don't want to be the only one not in the Aston and get driven away from and wonder, am I being driven away from because I'm not in the car that everyone else is in? So it kind of
Yeah.
just makes everyone just pick the same car, especially in like the top split. But normally it's besides the last couple weeks, normally it's pretty equal. Also, I'm sure we're gonna have some like super fast people in this race, but not these like we'll probably have like a handful of like 9,000 I rating drivers. So like top 0.01% of it's like 0.001% uh of
Yeah.
drivers on the service. Like we'll probably have a handful of them in the race. But it really doesn't matter what cars they pick. They were probably going to win their class anyways. So it, I don't, I don't necessarily think that we're good enough for like the BOP to matter, to be honest, except for the
Yeah,
fuel. Because
probably
I,
not, but I that's what I was curious about is the game or the simulated, like, fuel balanced in there? Because that's how I mean, in real life, specifically for GT3 for sure, that they use raw pace, average pace, tire deg, fuel filling rate, fuel filling capacity, like
yeah,
total fuel capacity, fuel burn. They use all that to like balance out the BOP. And I was curious if iRacing was that sophisticated because I've never thought about it
yeah.
before.
I mean, I guess I haven't thought about it either, but then that would kind of throw like, though I don't
It's
know.
not it's not like they're going to be any more perfect than
Yeah. Well, for the big
any other system, right?
for the big special event iRacing events, they look through all the data. If you notice, they always do like an official week on that car and track, or that like that class and track before, and they'll do one like 3 weeks before, or like 4 or 5 weeks before, and then they'll do another one like week of.
Yeah.
And that's them getting data to do a balance of performance on all the cars. But they have like you know 100,000 drivers to pick through and understand like what the BOP should be. So like
Yeah.
they have a much better shot than DJ in his basement to like
Yeah.
actually balance the cars.
When I worked at the kart track, before I was basically for the majority of the time I was there, I think at least maybe the whole time, I was in charge of the leagues and the endurance races. And it was like my favorite part of the job, to be honest. But maybe the week of the race, like if the race was Saturday, I would do it the Monday or Tuesday night prior. I would stay after work and I would drive all 20 carts. And we would only allow 10 carts into the endurance races. 10 was the maximum no matter what. So I would drive all 20 and I would pick the mean um 10. And it was usually like basically right in the middle. Sometimes it skewed a little bit, faster or slower.
What
But it
a
was like my
what a
way to
great
guarantee them.
dude, you what a great way to do a sales pitch for you to go-karting for 2 hours at work.
Well, it was especially the track I worked at with the treated floor and everything. It was I was like beat at the end of those
Yeah,
days
yeah, I
because
bet.
I'd be there from like we'd close at 10, I'd be there till like midnight, 1 in the morning, and I would do 5 laps in every cart and just like bang out, okay, and then here's the average lap that the
Yep.
cart did.
Yeah, you would get the
Average that out, compare everything, and then I would show them, like, "Here's the comparison of the carts. We're using these 10 carts. This cart's the backup. Here are the lap times I did in them," to, like, mitigate the information, to put the information there and mitigate the complaining about, like, "I got the shit cart," you know?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But it
Dude,
was also for me, it was, like, part of putting on a higher quality event
yeah, no,
than
dude,
most tracks that would just be like, "Oh, you got the bad cart? Oh,"
yeah,
or
I mean,
nothing.
that does happen a lot. Uh, as a competitor, if I came to like a league night and it looked like the place put in that effort to like make sure that hey, these are like the most equal carts, not the best carts. They don't have to be the
Right.
best, but like the most
Yeah.
equal.
The fastest cart was never in the race,
Yeah.
ever. The fastest 3 carts were almost never in the race. The fastest 5, like, the 5th fastest cart might be where the range started, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Um, I remember I think I've told this on the podcast before, but I just think it's so funny. It's an example of people like throwing events that like didn't lizard hard enough. And we've talked a lot on the podcast how like being a bit of a lizard when you're putting on an event is really great for the competitors in that event. I did
Yeah.
a endurance race, a rental car endurance race at Pit Race, and I remember the dude's like he's doing like the drivers meeting in the beginning and he like puts his hands together and he's like, "Guys, we're really proud to tell you that all these carts are within 2 seconds of each other." And I'm like,
That's terrible.
but like some people they didn't even get it. They like clapped. Woo! And I like look around I'm like, "This is a 3-hour race. If your cart's 2 seconds slower for 3 hours, you're like 7 like 10 I forget what the math was, but like you're like a dozen laps behind the leader if you happen to be the 2 seconds slower and then they're in the 2 second faster cart. Like you are so off pace and you could be the same skill level and you're 10 laps behind. Are you kidding me? Like like I heard that and I was like mad. I'm like, well, hopefully we like get like pull the short straw or don't pull the short straw or whatever. Like, yeah.
Yeah,
So
same. I saw I'm trying to remember, I wish I would have kept all this data because it would have been interesting to be able to reference, but I'm pretty sure that the carts were generally within, like, 4 to 6 tenths of a second, top to bottom, and it also kinda depended on the time of year, like, all the carts would get fast in the
mhm.
winter and all the carts would get slow in the summer, but some carts were always faster or less slow in the summer, let's say. I mean, there were times where the whole field was spread by 2 seconds, right? But I think the downside of that is you don't really make any more, like, money off of the amount of time you put into doing that kinda stuff, or, like, you it's not, like, more
I think you do a
the
little
only thing it
bit.
does is improve the customer service or, like, the experience of the race.
And then they're more likely to come back.
True, yeah, yeah, it's like a more abstract thing.
Yeah. I when I first started trying to figure out this driving stuff, by the way, I think like a rental cart league during the winter is like one of the best ways to like keep those competitive juices flowing. Like
You know who disagrees with you?
Max Verstappen.
Max Verfrickin'
Yeah,
Stappen.
yeah, 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 yeah. Look, I'm talking like competing.
What does that guy know?
I think competing behind the wheel and experience with that, even if it doesn't drive like a car at all, is worth I think that's worth more than like figuring out how to drive a car. Like
Yeah,
like if you're driving tires at the limit of adhesion and like that's part of the thing that you're still like figuring it out or figuring out and also like just you're just getting into this like competing with a lap time thing. Rental carts are like super super good for that. So look for a cart place near you like a K1 Speed or a Full Throttle or some other like make if it's a cart place where you have to wear a helmet while you do it, then that's a good one. If you don't have to wear
good
a
start, good
helmet,
start.
like you're probably just you're probably it's probably like bumper cars or like you ever see that thing, Tom, where it's like bumper cars but they're like playing basketball or whatever? That actually looks fun.
What? No.
Yeah, they it's like extra big hoops and they have like a beach ball or something and they're like playing basketball like driving like bumper cars around.
I've never seen this. I wanna look it up. Have you ever heard of tangent for a second, have you ever heard of this place called Action Park. It was this like notoriously dangerous
I just
theme
watched
park.
I just watched that YouTube video.
You just okay, I've seen, like, multiple different channels cover this place, but the one I didn't know about was, like, the battle tanks, which were, like,
Yeah,
little
yeah,
metal enclosed
dude.
tanks,
And
and
they
they
like
shot tennis balls at each other, but also everyone around the outside could shoot a turret at them, and
yeah.
then they had the employees on foot chase the balls around to pick them up, so it was, like, obviously everyone aimed for the
Do you
employees.
know
It
who
would be
they
like
do you know
everyone aiming at you when you were at the golf course.
Yeah, yeah. Do you know who I got hit with a couple golf balls? Maybe they were aiming at me.
I believe it.
So, do you know who they put in there? It was employees that were late that day. That's literally how it worked. If you were late, you had to go pick up tennis balls in the Battle Tanks arena.
Wild. If you've never looked this up, Action Park, and just pick the first video essay you see. Any of them are gonna be good. It was
Uh,
wild. People died there and stuff.
I
It
think
was like Wild West of the '80s and '90s before they got things under
I
control.
think the one I watched was Fern. So FERN. They make amazing videos. Get them in your algorithm. It's so good. It's like
Yeah.
it's not quite Veritasium level, uh, but it's like if
I like
Veritasium
it.
is an
I
A,
like it better
this is like a
sorry, I interrupted you. Sorry, go ahead.
if Veritasium is an A, they're like a minus B plus.
I like their videos better than Veritasium because 'cause I'm like Veritasium loses me sometimes with, like, how in the weeds they get.
Yeah, I like how in depth they get.
Yeah, that's a difference. There was what was the other one that I used to try to watch, and it's just like I bounce off of it every time. Real Engineering, this Irish guy commentates and it's like lots of 3D animation
hmm
and like blueprint style. That guy always loses me too.
I
I cannot focus on that.
I click on his videos when it's like engineering of sewage, and I'm like, okay, that is literally something I've never thought of. But like, let's learn something about something that I live with every day and have never thought of. Then I'll click on
Yeah.
those videos. But if
We
it's
got to do a
like,
recommended list of YouTube channels
oh, we should
for the
like,
Lizard Brain
yeah,
podcast.
Lizard Brain's approved YouTube channels.
Yeah.
hmm I
Back to the okay. I did Action Park Pivot, the go karting.
Oh, I was just saying that it's a good way to like keep the competitive
Oh,
juices flowing.
I was gonna say I think more go kart tracks should lean into like the gym membership aspect. Because
They
honestly, I think the
should
biggest value I got out of the kart track, we would earn 1 race for every 4 hours worked, and I worked 40 hours a week, so I got 10 races a week, and I tried to use all 10 every week, so I started a fresh week with 0 races as part of my, like that was my fitness program, and
yeah
that's what, like, introduced me to wanting to be in better shape. I think if people we had, like, an unlimited membership at our track that was, like, 1,500 bucks,
for the
which
year.
sounds really steep for the year, yeah, and that sounds really steep. I couldn't afford that really, but if it was more in the physical, like, fitness aspect, I think that'd be pretty interesting. I don't know if it would work at every track because some are not that physical, but
I mean,
certainly, like, ours was like 100 calories burned a race. It was, like, pretty hardcore.
I'd do like 100, $150 a month for unlimited races. Yeah, I think I would
Yeah,
do that.
maybe that's a monthly thing for, like, an off season. You know, it's something to consider. If you have a decent relationship with your kart track or you've been before or you maybe know who to talk to, even if they don't offer it, like, if it sounds interesting to you, figure out a way to make it valuable for them or not cost them anything, that you get a ton of seat time, a ton of driving time. You get to like lean into the fitness aspect of it. Whatever their pricing structure is, like do a little analysis and then like propose to them. Like, can I pay this much to just like have unlimited rights to karting during these
I,
months or something?
I mean,
Like they might listen.
they might. When I first, so Christine brought me to my local go kart track, which is called High Voltage Indoor Karting. It's in Medina, Ohio, um, and they're awesome. By the way, they're lizards over there. Uh, and Christine brought me there for my birthday, and I like felt myself getting better at driving with just the 3 races, and I was like, I gotta go back. So I made
Yeah.
it a point to go once a week, and I was going and going and going, and I think it was like my third or fourth week, and the owner was there, and he's like, "Hey, you should come to our league night." And I was like, "Oh, when is it?" And he told me about it, and I was like, "Okay, cool." So I would always go like every like Wednesday or Thursday, and league night was on Tuesday. So I started going to the league night and doing those races, but then I would still go the other day that I would normally go to like keep the rust off because if I just did it once a week, when I showed up to league night, I would be a little rusty for like the first race or two, and you don't know when you're going to get the good cart because the way the points worked was you were scored on each race, but then you were also scored on whatever your fastest time was for the night.
Mm,
So if you got like a
interesting.
good cart on that first race and you're still like, oh, I'm shaking the cobwebs off, then you lost your chance. So I didn't want to show up like rusty. So I was going twice a week for I don't know, basically the whole year, sometimes 3 times a week, especially if I felt like, I really dropped the ball in league. I'm going to go like extra this week. I spent $2,800 in 1 year on rental go-karts.
That sounds like a ton, but I guess that adds up pretty easily. You put that into context of what we spend on iRacing, it doesn't seem that crazy.
Well,
Um,
but
good.
like that was like the level, and that was 2016, and like the amount of improvement I had because I was going to a bunch of autocross events, I was karting a bunch. One of our listeners, Danny Corliss, he competed every single weekend for the year. I think he only had like an off weekend or two, or oh, Danny's here, he can tell me. But like he drove over like 60 times. Yeah, 52 weeks straight. He drove something at the limit of adhesion. And if you ask Danny, he improved so much. 72 days of driving is what he just said in the chat. So, and he improves so much because it's just that repetition. You don't get a chance to like have any rust. Every single time Danny jumped behind the wheel of something and he was driving at the limit of adhesion, he was just building on top of what he built the last time he drove. There was never any kind of comeback. He was just starting right where he left off every time because he never got rusty. He never had any cobwebs. He didn't like the muscle memory didn't start to fade of the things that he was starting to build. Like that's how you get good at this stuff is you have to go at it with a commitment and an obsession that maybe isn't from the outside doesn't look completely normal, but that's fine. If you don't want to be normal, then you kind of have to do stuff outside of the norm.
To quote Danica Patrick.
Did she say
Do you
that?
remember that quote?
No, what did
She
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 say?
she she had the quote that was what, it was, you make a move in an unusual place and get an unusual result,
Mm.
and that's when Jensen Button looked at the camera and went, "What is hap" I like
uh,
Eric said, "Year of the lizard." If you plan a
yeah,
whole year of driving, that's 100% a year of the lizard.
year of the lizard. So maybe,
Is there a lizard of the Chinese zodiac? There's not, right?
yeah,
Just a dragon.
maybe start thinking about what 2026 is going to look like, and maybe you have a year of the lizard, and you just do what you can, whether it's rental carts or if you have like a sim rig or something like just like set a goal where it's like I'm gonna put in like a consistent amount of effort throughout the year, and see what happens, and go in with the mindset of like I'm gonna learn. I and the goal is for me just to be like a sponge, and like I'm gonna ask questions, and I'm gonna do this as much as I can, maybe an unhealthy amount, and like let's see where it goes. Like let's see where like let's take note of what my PAX was at the end of last year, and let's take note of where like my average PAX placement if you're autocrossing, where my average PAX placement is at the end of the year. And I guarantee if you make that commitment and you believe that that commitment will be worth something, because the belief is important, because then you'll actually do it. Then you will get better at this.
Yep. Which that reminds me, we're almost due for a new goals list.
Oh,
It's December.
I
Holy
still
cow.
I still gotta get the 8,000 I rating. I'm just hovering
Yeah.
at 7,500.
You got 21 days.
Dude,
Oh, no, 20
Tom,
days.
I did a I was teetering with my safety rating, and I'm just like, man, I just need to be A license again because I did a whole week of Red Bull Ring, and that was a brutal track for my safety rating and iRacing. And I'm like, I just got to do one race. I'm on like the brink, and I just got to do some laps. And I was like, I'm gonna do the Ferrari challenge and literally go club some seals and not get any off tracks. You know what I did? The strength of field was like 1,300. It was like nobody was in there. What did I do? Well, first off, I didn't practice for the race at all because I was just like, I'm just gonna jump in and do laps. I grabbed a curb a little weird. The car took a weird bounce, and I freaking crashed. I lost like 180 I rating in one race.
Ugh,
So that set me back.
that feels so bad.
Yeah.
You know what's great about Assetto Corsa? There's no I rating. There's no safety rating. There's no safety rating. I
I
don't
like
know.
the
I'm
I
kidding.
rating though, because
I'm
then when
kidding.
you jump into competitive races, you have competitive people with you.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Speaking of iRacing, I guess because we have this race coming up this weekend, I kind of got on a tear of putting. I was starting to like just think about every aspect of it, like I do when I have an event that week
Hmm.
that I'm in charge of. I'm just thinking about like what could somebody not understand or what could go wrong, and then how do I mitigate that with information or advice, right? So I
Yeah.
started like compiling a list of like what well, the drivers meeting notes are going to be, but also for our steward who's going to be in the server live to like give out penalties and hold standards up. Like, what kind of advice do I give them to look through like the lens of how we want the race quality to be, right? I kind of thought it'd be interesting to go through them, even though I shared them on Discord last night.
Yeah. Also, by the way,
Um,
you've been doing a great job just thinking about stuff that I just wouldn't think about. So I can totally tell that your brain is just like doing
I
laps
think I
with
think
the
it's
event
perfect.
thing.
I think it's perfect because you're thinking of it from the lens of like doing iRacing and understanding the nuances of iRacing and taking it as seriously as you do and playing it as much as you do. And I'm taking it from like uh my event organizer mind.
Yeah, but then also like a
So we're like
present.
we have everything covered.
Yeah, but then also like you're one of the commentators, so like you're thinking of it from like a presentation like standpoint as well. Like what needs like a well ran event is good for presentation. So like your goals are aligned there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Where was I sharing these? I'm gonna pull it up over here. Sorry, I
Uh
thought that would be a smooth transition and now I'm clunking around on my computer.
you know, the most riveting
Yeah,
the
yeah.
most riveting podcast content is Tom fumbling on his computer.
Yep, I got there. All right. So as a reminder, is this weekend at noon. There's GT3 cars, the new P Cup, Porsche 911 Cup car, and GT4 cars at Laguna Seca. It's a 3 hour race for you can do it between 1 and 4 people on your team and still be competitive. So through that lens, I'm starting to think about like what do I want to put down on paper for like expectations. So the first thing I thought of is from a driver's perspective, having a little bit of are you frozen?
Nope.
Nope. Oh, okay. Having a little bit of a like multi-class etiquette conversation. Just not these are not rules, but these are things to keep in mind. So I threw this in here, and I'm curious. The reason I want to share this on the podcast is I think it'd be interesting to get feedback because as we've learned from other conversations, not everybody views all of this stuff exactly the same. People have different perspectives on racecraft and fairness and all this, right? So when you're doing a multi-class race at Laguna Seca, this is kind of getting into my notes. The cars, first of all, it's a super busy track. The straights are short, the speeds are low, and the number of cars on track is probably going to be at least 50 up to 62. So I put be predictable and communicate your intentions as early as possible with a reminder that the race will be very busy. Being aware of faster or slower traffic is not acceptable. Here are a few things to keep in mind that will ensure a high quality race for everybody. First, traffic naturally fades across the track from down the front straight and from the run up to the corkscrew. Like you track out to the right, but then you naturally kind of fade left and then fade back to the right.
Yeah.
So I put a note that slower cars can stay driver's right down the entire straightaway and alleviate uh, the stress of getting past, and also to be more predictable down the straight. Which I think is a note that should be used more often because this place, I mean, this comes into play at like
Lime
Road
Rock.
America, Lime Rock,
Yeah.
any track where you have a straightaway where the cars naturally fade across the straight and still end up on the same side of the track at the end. Um, that's something to keep in mind. And then I put traffic crosses from one side of the track to the other at turns 2 to 3, 4 to 5, 9 to 10, 10 to 11. Keep this in mind when navigating traffic as a faster car being passed as a slower car. Communicate your intentions early, which I think is all you can do, right? Like if you're planning on blocking the preferred line,
Yeah.
like positioning your car there, do it early. Like make you don't have to do it as a surprise. You can still gain an advantage by doing it early, but communicating what you're going to do as early as possible lets the people behind you figure out what you're going to do as like
Yeah.
it gives them maximum time to not create a problem because of what you did.
I've been coaching quite a few people on this, and one of the parts of the conversation that we have about like multi-class racing on Laguna Seca is like you don't you kind of have to judge like, okay, are they just going to have like a nose in, like you almost, as a slower car, sometimes you just have to make the correct decision for both of you, like, so
Yeah.
you communicate like, hey, going to the inside here, not a good idea, just like set up a run, right? And you communicate that intent, by just like moving over. You just break their concentration for a second. Like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll just hang by, right? But then you also have to realize like, okay, I'm gonna barely have overlap on them by turn in, so it makes more sense for me to lift. Like, there's like a give and take that should happen, and there's two things. One, your lap time's going to be on average faster because you're going to have less awkward exchanges and like
100%.
clunkiness in corners because you only need one of those and you lost like 2 to 3 seconds. A couple tenths here and
Yeah.
there, nothing. You lose 3 seconds because it was just like an awkward exchange. It's that is like a half hour worth of driving of little lifts and taps and stuff there. Two, way higher percentage of survival by just uh, like communicating intent and lubricating passes that are going to happen anyways.
Yep. That was my next note is slower cars may consider lifting on straights to facilitate an easier pass for a faster car or to avoid going side by side through corners. This can save more time than you realize and mitigates a lot of risk. And that's like I think that comes from learning how to be the slower car.
Yeah,
Like if you've never been the slower car or if you've never thought about it before, it feels bad like lifting halfway down the straight. Something I do when I'm the slower car is pay attention to in general, excuse me, on average, how far back does a car behind me catch me down like the main straightaways?
yeah,
Or, so let's put ourselves on the back straight at VIR. We're coming over the second crest. And if I'm not side by side by that crest, then there's like a general math problem that I can do because the brake markers start pretty soon after that. If they're not this close to me by the brake marker or by the crest of the hill, let's say, I know they're not going to catch me. So I can be even if they are determined to catch me, if I'd hit my normal brake point, I'm okay. And then if they enter that gray zone, we're like, I think they might think they got this, even though
yeah.
they shouldn't.
Yep,
That's
yep.
when I go into like, I'm going to take control of the situation. I'm probably going to lift a little early. I'm going to get them as clear as possible that I'm letting them go, and then I'm going to like follow them into the corner as fast as possible. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Or you're like they might stuff it up the inside, and that wouldn't make any sense for either of us. So
Yes.
I'm gonna cover the inside for a split second, just kind of like break their vision with my car for a second, and then like take the normal line. And then if they go for it anyways, then you're like, okay, well, like screw us, I guess. Like,
Right. Yeah. At least you've already sort of mentally committed to being the adult in the room at that
yes,
point.
yeah, exactly, yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
it's almost like again, shout out Randy Pope's Vortex of Danger. It's like a different vortex of danger. It's like this gray zone behind you where the all if a car's in that zone and they're faster than you, they're probably going to try it. So if you decide to make it easier for them, then both people come out better.
I feel like
Um,
I feel like most of the multi-class incidents I see is where somebody like the slower car should have done a lift to like lubricate that pass, and they don't. And then there's like an incident where the slower car barely has overlap on like the inside or the outside or whatever, and then it's like a tangle because it's like
yeah.
there's no way the faster car was gonna sit there and wait when they like were basically having you cleared. Um, and it's like the incident happens because of like stubbornness or red mist or like just not fully aware of like what would actually be beneficial. I see that all the time and way too often.
Yeah.
Just before we move away from it, something I'll do in multi-class races on iRacing is I'll pay attention to whatever the lap time splits are between like my class and their class. And in the relative box, which kind of shows you your gaps to everyone, I'll take note when they're like getting to that whatever that delta is. Let's say they're 10 seconds faster than the car I'm driving. I'll take note. Okay, they're 15 seconds behind me as I start this lap. That means they're going to catch me in the middle of not this lap, but the next lap. And then I'll start to think, okay, where is that going to be? And then pay attention to that relative. And when it like gets to like 10 seconds, so they're 10 seconds behind me, where am I on track? And already start processing in my head, how is that pass going to be facilitated here? Depending if, it's one car or maybe it's a pack of seven, right? Like, cause that changes like what you're going to do and how you're going to approach it. And I'll have some thought on it before the time comes of whatever that scenario is. So I don't feel like panicked. I have more bandwidth for what's happening. It's just way less chaotic if I've already saw the scenario coming up to me and like did some forethought on it.
Yeah. I know for a fact that all a majority of good drivers do this, but I also wonder if giving away the way you think about it feels lame. Like if you were to put this in the drivers meeting of a real race, would people be like, "You're giving away all the answers." You know? Is it like having a cheat sheet? I guess I wonder where that line is. But anyway, so the next note that I put was about the race for basically like incident responsibility. And actually, I think this is really solid, but I'm curious to hear thoughts
Ooh,
about it.
let me see. I didn't read any of these, by the way.
This is like notes on for the race. Sorry, notes for the live steward to think about, but also the drivers.
Okay.
Uh, to aside to for how long were the car? Sorry, for visibility and communicating your intentions. Two things. For how long were the cars side by side, duration wise,
Yep.
and how far alongside was the passing car or the car that initiated the pass, right?
Yep.
So if you're a little bit there for the whole straightaway, you probably earned right to racing room. This is all about like earning the right to be left space to have racing room.
Yep.
If you're crazy alongside, like just past the break point, that's also plenty of reasonable time for them to see you. You've communicated your intention. You're trying to pass them. So
Yep.
like maybe the duration is super low, but the overlap is super high, or maybe the duration is super high, but the overlap's really low. And then it's kind of this like sliding scale of like where is you do the assessment like were they both of those things? Are they neither of those things? How much of those things were there? Because I don't think you can ever say there's black and white for racecraft. But if you take those two things into consideration, I think you basically come up with the right answer almost every time.
Yeah. So like for example, if somebody turned into a corner like way early and they literally just took a shorter path to get there, and by taking that path they made overlap, but it was like right at the apex and then there was an incident. Under Tom's rule, that guy gets a penalty because you can't just create
I would think of it
overlap
as
in the last like split second of possible track disappearing.
yeah. And I would even think of it as less of a rule and more of a perspective. Like
Yeah.
this is the perspective we're looking at fair racing through with the goal to like not not end anybody's race, basically.
Yeah.
Like a little bit of contact, you can never say like a little bit of contact is not okay because it's such a circumstantial, nuanced thing. But if both cars have contact and neither car's race is really affected, then the contact is no big deal most of the time. Obviously, especially in iRacing, in real life, it sucks to fix your car, whatever.
Yep. Yep.
Um, okay, so as far as like earning right to racing room, for how long were the cars side by side, and how far alongside was the passing car? Take both of those into consideration, and then finally, as far as car control goes, for who might be at fault, was one driver more perfect than the other for longer? In other words, who was the first one to lose control?
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And in general, the first person to lose control is probably at fault, assuming everything else is like both drivers earned right to racing room.
Yep.
They were having a side by side interaction, a wheel to wheel place. Then, as far as like multi class stuff goes, lapping cars is basically like who communicated their intentions first, whether you're the faster or slower car. If one car communicates their intention, like, I'm not giving you the inside, I'm taking the inside, and you have to go to my outside, and the other person forces the issue, the person who forces the issue is more likely to be at fault
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
in general. And then also, yeah, and then I said who forced the issue, keeping in mind A, B, and C, meaning the first three things I just hit.
Yeah. I love that, dude. That's like such a good definition of multi-class like engagements.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think of like I'm kind of a dick when I'm in a slower car. If I don't want you to pass me now, I'm going to put my car in a place where you want to be, and then I'm going to make you force the issue. And if you actually do, then you have to have your out. But
Yeah.
um, what was the other? There was one last level of this, and I'm reading. Oh, and then basically egregious out of class blocking from a slower car. Strategic placement is okay. Moving in response is not. So if the car behind you moves, you can't move. you can place your car strategically ahead of time before they make their move in a place where you can like as I said, I'm going to take the inside here. I'm going to drive down this entire straightaway offline and force you to go to the place that I'm going to make you go, and then we're going to go into the corner. Like if that's kind of my strategy to not lose control of the scenario.
Yeah.
But strategic car placement, okay. Moving in response is not. That's my like 5 items.
I
I
think
kind of
that
think if you keep those in mind, you should basically never hit anybody, and you should almost never get hit, and your race should almost never be affected.
by another car, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then it's at that point it's just up to crashing yourself.
Do you have any thoughts or additions or qualms with that? Did I just nail the perfect list and no one's going to crash this weekend?
Well, I don't know. I think there's gonna be plenty of people crashing.
I hope not.
You know what was crazy is so the last time we did this, or not the last time, but the first time we did this last year, is we planned for cautions at Road Atlanta, and there was only one incident that maybe could have brought out a caution, but it was like so borderline that like the caution didn't happen.
And it
Um,
literally only happened because the person's hardware failed. Their
yeah,
wheel
yeah, yeah, yeah.
lost power
I
and their
forgot
car
about
like
that part.
careened across the track in a weird way that took out like one other car in total, but it looked like chaos for a second. It was a lot.
Yeah, well, it kind of looked like it crashed that person on purpose, but then
Yeah, we were
but
like, "Oh,
yeah, like, oh my god, what the like? I thought I was gonna have to ban somebody. I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna have to like actually put my admin hat on and like start like removing people out of
yeah."
servers and stuff. But no, like when you watch the replay, you can literally see the dude's wheel like reset, and it does like the calibration thing where it like spins one way and then spins the other way, like while they're in the car, and it's like, oh, that is the most unlucky thing I've ever seen.
It was a bummer.
Yeah. It took down the people that were, beating me, so I don't know, I just,
That's true, that's true. It looked like they crashed the person in front of you on purpose.
yeah, yeah, hey, thank you.
Um,
We're gonna have a talk about that.
it's the lizard brain's bribe. Be a shame if something happened to him.
Yeah, it'd be a shame if a T-shirt showed up, just saying.
Yeah.
Uh,
Alright, well, I guess, I mean, that was the whole it felt more profound in the moment, but I guess they're not that arguable.
Tom, I wanna send, hold on, I found this the other day. So for some reason, I was looking through messages and Raul sent me a a version of our logo where the lizard was gold. And I think it would be kind of
Okay.
cool to have a gold lizard t-shirt that we gave to the winners.
The golden lizard.
The
I like
golden
that.
lizard shirt. Or we can do like a sticker or whatever they want. Whatever like well not whatever they
Oh,
want.
holographic sticker?
Wait, I
Oh, yeah.
hold on, I'm not doing however we want because we have like a really nice Adidas hoodie that would be normally like 80 to $100 in a store for like 70 bucks on the merch site. You can't have a golden lizard sweater unless you pay for it. You can have a golden lizard sweater if you pay for it, but the golden lizard is only available for race winners of our special events. That's what I say.
Yep. Extra, super it's a star. It's more rare than the squares and the circles.
Oh, you talking about
Bringing back
Pokemon cards?
Pokemon for the 3rd week in a
Oh,
row, yeah.
okay. So I've been completely tearing apart my. Do you have any closing thoughts on your like box that you put the competitors in?
Not really, no, I was gonna plug the race one more time, but go ahead.
Do the race. Okay. By the way,
Do
all
the
the
race.
information's in Discord. Fill out the commentator's guide. The way the passwords is going to work is subscribers of the podcast, and this has gotten confused. I've had people send me screenshots of them being subscribers on YouTube. The subscriber, it's like a Patreon of the podcast, and it's like a subscriber on Discord. Discord's the platform that we use to for people to support the podcast. So they're gonna get the password 15 minutes before or about 10 minutes before everyone else to make sure that if they're the supporter of the podcast, they get in the race. There's no way they're not getting in the race.
Yep,
The next people who get the password are people that fill out the commentator's guide. And if you're a subscriber, you should still fill it out. That just means you'll get the password twice. And then everybody else will get the password after they get the password. So right now, the the two guaranteed ways to get in the race is by being a subscriber or filling out the commentator's guide. Because I think we've had, what is it, like mid 30 is filled out the commentator's guide.
Yeah, right at 30, and that doesn't account for all the subscribers who are gonna get the password either way.
Yep.
And then we also have the prizes from SCCA. All the class winners get a 50% off a track night in America in 2026, up to 3 drivers on your team. So we have essentially 9 of those to give away at
Wait,
max.
I thought it was
And
four.
then no, it'll be like if all 3 races are won by teams of 3, then
Oh,
all 9 of
oh.
those drivers will get a discount for a real track day.
Three people can win prizes, but we can have four drivers on a team.
Correct. You can have 4 to be competitive. You can have 7, I don't care, but then you're
Yeah.
not gonna be competitive.
Yeah. 'Cause
And then we
I
also
had
have
somebody email me and go like, can we not have four? I was planning on doing it with friends. And I'm like, you can have four. Like I don't, because it's four
yeah,
stints.
yeah.
So, but the prizes probably confused some people. That's why I wanted to make that clarification.
Yep, just based on allotment of how much that's worth. That's
Yeah.
almost $500 in giving away,
Right. We did.
from SCCA, and then, Spicy Cat Racing is giving away Spicy Cat Racing memberships, which is essentially like, uh, access to coaching help. You get, 20% off their store, you get deals through their partners and stuff, for the fastest lap of the race in each class. It's not each class, it's just the fastest lap of the race, so I guess in GT3. And then the most positions gained
Y'all better watch out. That
of
new P cup is fast. I'm coming for
yeah. And then
it.
then a 20% off code for the store, for Spicy Cats Racing store, for the best livery, the pass of the race, and then one random draw that we'll just randomize and pick.
Okay.
There's the race.
There's the race. I'm
We're
excited
gonna move
for it.
on.
I'm
What were
ready
you
to
gonna
move
talk
on.
about?
So, Tom, you're going to be moving soon, out of that at least that
Mhm.
apartment, right?
Back to
Or
Cincinnati
condo
for
or
me.
whatever it is. Okay, so you are going to Cincinnati. So
Yep.
I've when I moved into this house, I kind of just like took boxes from when I moved to Michigan or from Michigan to Ohio in 2014. And then all that stuff lived in boxes. I never unpacked it. It just like lives in the basement of the duplex I was living in. And then I just took all those boxes and then moved them here. And they all ended up in the sim racing room. And I just never went through them. Well, I'm trying to get like this whole area organized because I'm like, all right, 5 years of disorganization is probably enough while I live here, and I should at least attempt to be an adult. I'm a 37-year-old child at the moment, but like I'm turning a new leaf. Like we're gonna be an adult. I'm gonna actually fold my laundry at least like once in the next decade. So, um,
It literally looks like a different room you're sitting in right now.
I
I was
know.
really impressed.
It's been a lot. It's been a lot. I have 8 garbage bags of stuff because all these boxes apparently I was just like moving garbage from like one place to the next because I'm like, why do I have this? I went on a cruise in 2011. I went on a cruise and we won like this, me and my friends, we won like this like pool volleyball game or something. And they gave us medals because we won it. Like the cruise ship people gave us
Nice.
medals. I found one of those medals in a box. I'm like, why do I still have this? Like I looked at it and I was like, what is this? Because it was like a Royal Caribbean like emblem, and it looked like
Sure.
some like Transformers thing. I'm like, and I had to think for a second. And I was like, oh my god, I remember when I got this. Anyways, it's in the garbage now. I don't like keep like random stuff like that. But for some reason, I guess apparently I do because I had so much just random stuff like that. But it like was like a trip down memory lane that I don't necessarily need to have, but it has made this process way longer. And it just reminds me of like when I moved out of my like childhood home and like was moving with roommates the first time, all like going through all that stuff and like you're just like a trip down memory lane. You like find something that you've never seen before. And one of the things I found, I'm like, what's in the shoebox? I open it up. It was my Game Boy stuff. And I was like, oh,
Ooh.
I haven't seen this in like 10 years. So Pokemon Blue, right on top. I grab it. That was the Pokemon I played as a child. I had 110 hours logged on that bad boy. You know how many AA batteries that is, Tom? That's a lot of batteries. And thanks, mom and dad. And uh, I just loaded it in. It didn't start up. I gave it a little whoosh with I blew in the cartridge. Apparently, you're not supposed to do, but it works every time. So don't at me.
Yeah,
Uh,
as one does.
yep. and it fired right up, and I was at the Elite Four with all my like my God Squad of Pokemon, and I was like, oh man, okay, maybe one of these times I'll sit down and like beat the Elite Four again. Um, but one thing I don't remember is how tiny the screen was on a Game Boy. So I was on a Game Boy Advance. Um, I lost my Game Boy Color, and then I just got an Advance as like a replacement for it when I
Yeah.
was a kid. But I'm gonna post in the chat what this picture looks like. It is the tiniest screen ever. Little 8-year-old DJ eyes had zero issues with this, but 37-year-old man child over here was like having some serious issues. Like, not that it was like blurry. Oh, oh, hold on. I accidentally joined the wrong thing, Tom. So hold on. Okay, I'm back.
Don't look at the man behind the curtain.
No, I accidentally hit the wrong thing. I meant to open chat and I accidentally joined the thing. But at least the recording on my end sounds completely fine. Um anyways, the screen was so small. I'm posting a picture. And then you know what else I found, Tom? I found a Hoosier, like a whole tire. I found a it was just buried under boxes. It was a whole tire from my 2021 GLTC season when I won a race at Mid Ohio. It was that tire is what got sent to me for winning that race. Um, and it just lived in a box for like the last 4 years in my basement, and I didn't even know about it.
Man, that's how guys, this is how privileged DJ's life is. He can just lose he couldn't even get through it, sorry.
Dude,
That's really funny
no,
though.
I was mad
Who
at
puts a
myself.
tire in a box? Just
That
ship the
that's
tire.
that's how Hoosier sends the tires. They put them in boxes because it was a contingency thing. I like won
Sure.
because I won the race. It showed up in a box, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna use that." And then then the race car was crashed, and I'm like, "I'm gonna use that." Like when I fixed the race car, and then like that never happened, and that box just slowly got buried under stuff. And then when I finally got down to the box, I was like, I opened the box, being like, "What's in this?" Because it was like a little adventure I was on, and I'm like, oh, what's in this? And it was like dark in there. And I'm like, oh, there's like a cover. There's something underneath it. And I like reached in to like move the cover, and my hand just like crinkled on something hard and like rubbery. And it smelled like a tire. And then I opened it up a little bit more, and I was like, holy crap, it's a tire. And I was like mad
It
at
is a
myself.
tire.
I'm mad at myself because I don't know what that tire cost in like 2021. I think it was like 350, $380 like per tire.
Yeah,
Um,
probably.
I just let $400 like die in the corner of my basement. It feels bad.
It's yeah, I guess it's yeah, I mean, I guess it's not dead, but what do you, shit, tire. I had a thought and I lost it.
I'm gonna sell it to Paulo for $10 because right now that's my highest offer on it.
What's he gonna do? Put it on one corner of his MX-5?
Dude, I don't know. He offered me $10 and I PM'd him. I said, hey, right now you're the highest bidder. Do you actually want this thing for $10? And he said, yeah, I'll like turn it into art or something. And I was like, all
I was
right.
gonna say, Paulo, you gotta make a either wall art or coffee table. Is it the size of tire that's, like, useless for Hoosiers now? Because we had that problem with ASM. We would go through a Hoosier R7 set every weekend. At the end of 2021, we had 7 full sets per car of 5 heat cycle Hoosier R7s. But they were these really weird little narrow, like we were on 245 18s, which is essentially useless for anybody with like a faster car on 18s needs way more tire than a 245.
Yeah.
And a car that runs a 245 is probably not on
Yeah,
18s.
you guys were the
So
only
we
ones running
we
those tires.
literally could not give them away. We couldn't like we posted them so many times. We posted them for cheap, and I think we ended up giving away some of them for free for like some sort of bartering. Like, here, you take these for free and like give us,
Yeah, a transmission or something or whatever.
yeah,
Yeah.
or come to this event. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, come to
Oh,
this ice
yeah,
race. I don't remember what we did,
somebody
but
goes,
those
"Oh, I
those
don't have
tires were such
tires for
dumb
the
sizes.
for the track day you guys are hosting." You're like, "Sign up for the track day. We have tires." Yeah, like
Yeah,
something
yeah,
like that.
literally.
That's
Monetize
funny.
it some other little way, but yeah, that was the other frustrating part about that little era was the tires were such weird sizes. They weren't worth anything.
This is a
I'm kinda glad we're
245.
past the Hoosier DOTR era.
Yeah, same. This is a 245 4017. So it's like the lower profile 245 on a 17-inch wheel. Um
So that would be like a small tire for a car in 17s.
Yeah, like give like a
But
FRS and
okay, usable, yeah.
yeah, but it's not gonna sell in the autocross crowd because one, it's 4 years
No, it
old
needs that.
and it's an R7, not an A7.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna buy this stupid tire. Like I had a tire and maybe I could have sold it like right when I got it. Um, but I didn't. And I just have this tire and it's just adding to the 28 other tires I have and I don't know how to dispose of them cuz the tire place wants money for me to get rid of the tire and I'm
Yeah.
not going to pay them money for them to like don't they get paid for like somebody to come pick them up because it's like
No, they pay you pay for that.
do they pay for that tire to come get picked up?
You, as an individual,
Yeah,
pay per tire to
I
have them
know.
picked up and disposed of.
Exactly. That's why I have like 30 tires sitting in my garage. It's like taking
Yeah.
over my garage. I'm like running out of space because I have all these tires.
You gotta maybe join, like, a local drift group and just post everything you have for
Mm.
free slash I don't know. What's your daily Chipotle cost? Post them for that per tire.
Per tire. These are like
Yeah.
these
Not
are
daily,
like
but you know what I mean.
tires from 2015 and onward, Tom. We got some vintage tires in here. Remember all those
But drifters don't care. As long
yeah,
as they last more than, like, a run,
do you
it's worth the
remember
mounting for them.
remember all those Pirellis you gave me? They were all in Ed's garage.
Yeah, yeah, I
I still
do.
have all those.
Oh, shit. Those are really bad.
Yeah.
That's really bad. Those aren't even good tires to start with. Shit.
No. Yeah, imagine them 10 years later. They're probably just outright dangerous at this point.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Oh my
I think
goodness.
maybe you could donate them to your neighbors.
For what? What are they gonna do with them?
Well, they don't have to know about it.
Oh, I
Just, like,
just
throw it.
like I think they'll know. I have like some of my tires are outside and it's like a leaning like tire of Pisa in like my backyard. And if all of a sudden that disappears and everyone just has a tire like
Yeah,
in their mailbox, then like or like around their mailbox, then they're gonna know. They're gonna know. I just
they're
like
gonna know.
I print up a bunch of like pieces of paper that just says from Santa and I just like stick them on all the tires and like deliver them around the neighborhood.
There you go. That makes me think also, uh, I wanna hear stories of, like, the racing person in your neighborhood you grew up around, or the neighbor you had that, like, had a car, but you didn't know what it was, or that
Mm.
kinda thing.
Yeah, yeah.
'Cause I had a we when my parents moved when I was, I don't know, 11, 10 or 11, something like that, mid-childhood, and we moved into a neighborhood with a guy that had a Formula Ford, and I had or maybe a Formula Continental, and I didn't know the difference at the time. We hadn't gotten
But it
into
was a
racing
race
yet, but
car.
it was a race car. I was obsessed with racing
Yeah.
games, right? Like, and this guy he test drove it a couple times on the streets just to like make whatever he was working on, make sure it worked. And like maybe the first or second or third time he did it, someone called the cops on him, and then he never did it again. And
Ah.
then we never interacted with him again. But the second time he did it, the first time we saw him do it, we went over to his house and just started asking questions, and I remember vaguely that we did that, but I don't remember anything about the interaction.
Mm.
But did you grow up with, like, someone with, like, either a cool car or a hot rod or a dragster or a race car or something? You're
Uh,
like well, I guess your dad a little bit, right?
yeah,
Just because he autocrossed once, twice,
yeah,
3
like,
times?
but he like autocross when I was like a teenager. I'm trying to think of like when I
Yeah.
was a child. My uncle did drag racing, um, but he lived far away, so it's not like I was like hanging out with him a bunch. But I knew like that he was doing that, and then my dad went to like skip barber school, and he had like a picture of him in one of those cars like hanging somewhere in the house. And I remember like thinking like my dad's a race car driver.
Yeah,
Um,
that's cool.
and and I remember there was this like white brick house, and there was always a car with a cover on it in the garage. And the guy just had his garage open all the time, but the car had a cover on it. And I always wondered what it was. And you could tell it was kind of sporty because you could see the exhaust pipes, and there's four of them, and they were very chrome.
It was a Corvette.
It
It was
was,
1,000% a Corvette, and
it,
he took it to car shows,
no,
and it was a one of one, and
no,
he
no,
sat
no.
next to it in his little chair.
Maybe that it could have been that. And I would have been a little bummed. I would actually, I was a kid. I didn't know better. I was like, hell yeah.
Yeah,
All cars
yeah.
are awesome. Um, One time, I was riding my bike by, the cover was off. Tom, I don't exactly remember what Lotus it was. It was like the
Oh, it wasn't the
Lotus.
Corvette.
It was the Lotus with like the V10 in it. Like it was like kind of a bigger car. What Lotus was that? Somebody look it
A
up.
Lotus
It
Lotus Esprit? That was a
I think
V8.
so. Or maybe it was a V8. It looked like a Lamborghini. Oh, Eric Schultz got it. That's what it was. A Spirit,
Esprit, yeah.
Esprit. Okay. And as a child, oh my God, Tom, I never thought I saw a cooler car than that until I was riding my bike. Uh, just it was like, and I didn't live in like a nice neighborhood or whatever. Yeah, that's what it was, but it was red. Um, I was probably like 12 and I saw a Ferrari F40 just in a parking lot. And I literally I sat down and just stared at it. And I was hoping the owner would come out so I could hear it start up. I must have sat there for like a half hour, 45 minutes. I started to like get sunburned. Um, and then I finally left. But I like just stood there or just like sat down on the ground in a parking lot and just like looked at the car for like forever.
Yeah.
So
That's cool. I mean, as much as we joke that we're not car guys now,
we
like it starts
started.
somewhere.
Yeah, we started as car guys.
It starts that way for sure. But, I think Lotus Esprits are so cool. I'm just staring at these photos now.
Dude,
They're
it
so
was
cool.
so cool. It was
I
so
used to
cool.
I used to drive these in video games whenever I could because I thought they were so cool. Speaking of, the other question I had for this episode, springing it on you, you have a little hint, but Gran Turismo 7, or whatever Gran Turismo it is right now, just released a reverse layout of the Nürburgring that you can play anytime you want.
Wait, what?
And it's like it actually has the sectors and it has like the whole track, like you can race it
Gran
backwards.
Turismo?
Gran Turismo did that, yeah.
Dude, that would be so
Which
tough. You would
I'm surprised
you would
because
literally
like it's a real track.
you would have to relearn it again. It would be like,
Yes. Isn't that cool? Okay, so my question to the podcast and to you is if you could drive a track that you know backwards for real, what would you want to do?
I mean,
What track would you want to do?
just for the replay value, probably the Nürburgring. You'd get so many more hours of like figuring that thing
Yeah,
out,
true.
right? Um, I don't. So the thing
I'll
is
start. I thought about it because I sprung this on you.
yeah, yeah.
I think
Well, hold on,
NCM.
hold on, hold
Go
on.
ahead. Go ahead.
The thing about driving a track backwards is that it's nothing like the track forwards. It's a completely different racetrack. The couple tracks
Yeah.
that I have gotten to drive backwards, it's just another track. It is nothing involving the first track somehow. You think there might be some similarities here and there? Nope, completely different.
Right. Like no, even knowing the track does barely anything for you.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
It's not even useful information
Yep.
hardly at all. So I think NCM would be way up there. Because can you imagine going down the front straight backwards,
Ooh, into the
downhill
S's.
slightly into the S's, and then they're like elevation decreasing rhythm, dropping down into the corkscrew or the sinkhole again.
Mm-hmm.
Then you come back up over top of it. It's a whole acceleration zone all the way up through Faux Rouge.
Ooh,
Like I think even just that start of the lap would be so fun.
into Deception, and then you go down to the hairpin after Deception. Dude, that would be busy. Oh, that'd be so much fun. Dang. I think NCM would
Yep.
win. I'm trying to think of another one. Like I was thinking about Road Atlanta, but where Road Atlanta would kind of fall apart is turn 7. Like after the back straight, and then you have to like brake for that like hard 90-degree left. I think the rest of the lap would be pretty good, but right there would just kind of like fall apart.
Yeah, I think the magic of Road Atlanta, excuse me, is the first half of the lap is all like entry speed corners, and they would turn into just acceleration zones. You go in slow, and then like you just accelerate out of them easily,
Yeah.
like opening radius corners
I think
backwards.
well, I think
Laguna,
turn 5 at Road Atlanta backwards would be kind of interesting cuz you could like really open up the entry like turning in from the curbs.
yeah, but downhill over that crest, the car would be like basically off camber, unsettled the whole
Yeah,
time.
I
It'd
think
be
that would be great.
sketchy.
Oh, I would love it. It would be so fun. Uh
Could be fun.
okay, you're saying Laguna going up the corkscrew would be kind of interesting.
I've actually driven Laguna backwards in a video game before, and yeah, the up the corkscrew backwards is interesting. The top of the corkscrew gets way tighter than you think, and they run it backwards now for some. I
Do
don't know if
they?
it's a vintage event or a historics event or something, but in real life, they run like a short stage of Laguna Seca, start finish
Yeah, okay.
backwards. But the crazy part is after the corkscrew, you go downhill into turn 6,
Mm.
and it's like this little kink right now after having gone downhill through an acceleration zone, and then
Yeah,
you
yeah.
just keep going downhill, so you get to turn 5 even faster. It's kinda wild.
Yeah, yeah. Hmm.
I think it'd be interesting. I wish more tracks were designed to be both directions. I
Yeah,
know they can't for
the thing
safety,
is now
but
they have, like, cutouts in the guardrails
yeah.
and stuff. What would be cool is if they could just, like, pull post out of the guardrails and just, like, pivot the whole thing, so it just changes, like, which way it, like, opens. So then it just
Yeah.
opens the other way because it, like, pivoted in the middle or something like that. Like, come on, guys, we got the technology, like, we can figure this out, like, come on.
I would take admittedly, I would take sprinklers at the track permanently before I take this.
Ooh.
If you could make the track wet
Permanently.
whenever instead of backwards whenever, yeah.
No, I think I would take backwards.
Huh.
'Cause it would be a whole like we said, it would be a whole 'nother racetrack. I think Mid Ohio backwards would be kinda cool.
I think all tracks backwards would be kinda cool. I'm trying to think if there's any feature of of Mid Ohio that I'd wanna drive backwards.
Uh, the Thunder Valley, that, like, blind well, like, there's so many, like, blind corners or whatever. Um, but I just think that would be interesting. The carousel where it ends with the uphill, so you'd get, like, a little front end grip, like, right at the tail end of the corner.
Yeah, it might feel a little bit like coming out of the slow corners at Pitt,
Yeah.
RIP. But like the car starts to walk as you're coming uphill, increasing radius, like that
Yep,
might be kinda
yep.
cool.
That'd be kinda cool. Um, trying to think of, some other tracks that we've drove. I think what would Road America be like?
I think it'd be equally
I think it would be about the same as it is now, honestly, just
yeah,
turning different ways. Like the
right.
obviously the flow and stuff would be different, but I can't think of an element on that track. Oh, maybe turn 14, like the last corner on the track, like coming down
Oh,
that hill and
you come into the downhill at 160 and then
dude,
drop down? Oh my god.
you would have to brake like in the middle of the hill.
Yeah,
That might be a little wild. And you probably wouldn't see. It would just feel like you're driving off a cliff because that's actually a pretty good hill. So
it
you'd be
is,
driving off a cliff, and then like before you even see the ground, as you drive off the edge, you'd probably need to be in the brakes.
for sure.
Yeah.
Also, turns 7 to 6 down the hill to 5 might be kinda fun.
Yes, I
You know,
agree
like
with that.
you've come out of turn 8, you accelerate up the hill, you flick it through what is 7, and then you have to, like, come over the crest of 6 at track out, and then you shoot down the hill into the brake zone for 5
Yep.
backwards.
Yep. Dang.
We should do this in a video game
I
at
was gonna
some
say
point.
iRace.
This seems like
I
an Assetto Corsa exercise.
can will they let you just drive the track backwards? I'm sure there's a mod. You could probably drive any track backwards in Assetto Corsa. It has the start finish line logic. You just
Or yeah, or just do races, I
I don't
guess.
know.
I don't know.
Is
I thought it was an interesting,
somebody more tech
interesting
savvy than us? Can you start flipping some tracks backwards and we'll have backwards nights?
yeah.
Yeah, that
Topsy
sounds good.
Turvy Nights with Lizard Brains podcast.
I like that. That's fun.
Send
Um,
us in, what you think the most fun track backwards would be.
what are you up to this weekend besides the Lizard Brain race, Tom?
I'm dog sitting Senna for Eric because Eric's at PRI. Guys, both of us are skipping PRI this year.
Oh yeah, that's the thing.
Just happened. I don't know why. So I'm dog sitting Senna Thursday, Friday into Saturday morning, and then Saturday I don't know. Sunday's the race. That's gonna burn the whole day basically. Especially like I'll wake up at normal time, spend all the way up to the race, like frantically getting information to people and
Yep,
helping
yep.
Kyle get whatever he needs for the stream, and then the stream will happen, and then it's gonna be 5 o'clock, and I'll have dinner and be toast. Why? What are you doing? Anything else?
I gotta finish putting the sim rig together and then learn a new.
Yes, you do.
The all the components on the rig are exactly the same as they were, except the rig. And then I got different pedals. And if you've ever jumped on somebody else's rig, getting used to their pedals is like the hardest thing. So hopefully the learning curve on my new pedals is like very short, and then I'm
Yeah.
like right back on pace. Or this is going to be a pretty brutal. I got a league race tomorrow night, so hopefully that goes okay. And and then hopefully I'm up to pace for the Lizard Burns racer. That would be. I already got the excuses just ready to rip.
Yeah.
Basically, Tom, I'm just ready. I haven't dialed my pedals in yet. Ooh, dang it. Oh
Yeah, it
well.
was the color.
uh,
Uh, oh, shit, I was just at least you got 3 hours to figure it out.
yeah.
Plenty of time.
Well, I really wanted to get it done there was a part of me that was like, maybe I'll wait till after the race. But then I was like, yeah, but then like like I lose that motivation of like, oh, I want to do this event and like using the new stuff. And yeah, I was gonna like have it sit in boxes like kind of off to the side, but I was like, nah, we're not doing that. So
Yeah. Ooh, another good backwards track, Sonoma.
that would be good. That would kind of do
Coming
the same
down, it
too.
would be like ski moguls almost coming down the hill a little bit.
The first couple corners, but backwards would be like, yeah, mm, that'd be pretty tough. Oh, I think
Yeah.
the long left hander on the normal layout backwards. What corner is that? Do they just call that carousel too? There's so many carousels at racetracks.
Yeah. I think they just call it carousel. It's like how every autocross course has a feature turn or what, like a showcase
Showcase.
showcase corner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just
Comes into the showcase.
yeah. What track has the best carousel, Tom?
I don't like carousels, but I would say Road America probably has the best one.
I'm gonna go with Nurburgring.
Satisfying.
Do they even
Yeah,
call?
I guess that
Do
counts.
they call that carousel or is it like? Doesn't it have some other name?
Carousel? I don't know.
It's like
Whatever they say, however they say carousel in German.
that's what I'm thinking. Like if we said carousel, they'd be like American. But
Yeah, but we say it with a C and they say it with a K. That's the difference.
oh yeah, dang it. My freedom fries are showing.
Yes.
All right. I think that's gonna be the show. This sim rig's not gonna put together itself. And Tom, you wanna take us out?
Sure, why not? Hey, while you're reorganizing that room, remember, you never want to tear that shit down again. So I love your hair and I hope you win.